All right, shalom everybody. Peace for those who love peace, and no peace for the wicked, the Lord said. I hope my voice coming clear to you. If you don't hear me good, that's mean shaitan he pee in your ears, as Prophet Muhammad he said. And all of us, we knew that Prophet Muhammad never lie. Never, never, you know. He is perfect. Even Aisha, she said when he go to the bathroom, she never find his shit, which is perfect shit. Like, it's so yummy to the point, according to Muslims, the earth swallow his shit. Like the earth cannot resist the temptation of the shit of Prophet Muhammad. So whatever those Christians they say about Prophet Muhammad, whatever upon him, don't listen to them. Okay? We have tons of proofs that Muhammad is a prophet and Allah is God. They like it, they don't like it, it's obvious, it's so clear. Now this guy, his name Sheikh Yahya Waloni. Waloni. Sheikh Yahya Waloni, he is an Indonesian sheikh. Do you see, guys, the circle keep going? It's a miracle. Even the circle convert to Islam. Look, she is going around him. This must be an angel of Allah. Do you see the circle on the screen? How you can explain that to me? How you can explain such a circle going around like yum, 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 around the Kaaba, yum, more and more, around and round. Brother, no, stop. If you stop, they will step on you, they will kill you. So this Sheikh Yahya Waloni, he challenged Jesus and he insulted the Holy Spirit. And he said to Jesus, if you are God, kill me, make me die. So Yahya Waloni, he made a super challenge. If Jesus did not make him die, obviously Jesus, then he is not God. Okay. You know, I will go with your method, Muslims. Hey Allah, if you are God, make me die before I finish my sentence. Okay, I will make it long. I know it's short. You don't even have time to kill me. Yum, yum. Come on, Allah. Yum. Like in the Buddhist temple, you know. You go to the Buddhist temple, everybody's doing yum, yum. And there's no food. I don't know, like yum, yum. But where is the food? Everybody is like doing yum, you know. Like I don't know. I think I entered the wrong temple. I think it's called the Yum Temple. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Buddhists, you know. As you know, I did not special. Like the only time I met Buddha when he used to work, you know, Elon Musk, he used to be my driver. I kick him out. I hire Buddha. Buddha, he's so fat. He don't get in my small car. So I told him, you know what? You are too much weight in my car. I cannot hire you. So I fired him. This is the only thing I know about Buddha. Anything else, this yum thing, I don't know what it is. Like yum, you know. Somebody might get in and says, this guy, why is insulting other religion? My friend, you must, I mean, everybody insult everybody. Suddenly you don't insult, like you insult Christianity, you insult Jesus. Even movie you make, you cannot even make a movie without cursing Jesus. This is how you pervert you are. Yum. Anyway. So this guy, Yahya Waloni, man, this circuit will not stop. What the heck is that? I'm telling you, this is a miracle. This is a genie. And look, the circle is going around the top of his this is the member, like the place where he speak. By the way, he is very convincing, but I am not sure why the microphone is red. I mean the top of it. I guess because Muslim sheikhs, when they speak in the microphone, they say hot words, so the microphone go in flame. So this guy, who he challenged Jesus to kill him if he is truly God. This is what happened to him during the prayer. Orang, guys, you see, let me translate for you what he's saying. He said, orang, inshallah. All right? So, in case you don't understand, that's your problem. This is how we Arab translate things. Like the same as the Quran. Like you ask a Muslim, what this verse in the Quran says? He will say to you, the verse in the Quran says, and he will repeat the verse exactly. What it's mean. The verse mean, repeat the verse again, but he will never explain to you what the verse is saying. And then you ask different person, he will give you different answer. So orang what? He was talking, he fell down. He fell down dead. The other guy, he is holding something in his hand, waving it, like he think maybe like he have it was too hot. I'm telling you, even if the microphone get red, he must be breathing like a dragon, man. Muslims are really hot, especially Muslim girls. You know, they are not allowed to shave their eyebrows, but their is very shiny. Alhamdulillah. And look at the name of the masjid, the mosque, the masjid of Darul Falah. That's deep. You died in Darul Falah. Dar is a word mean house. Falah means success. Okay, so he went to the masjid of the house of success and he successfully died. What the heck? And look, the Muslims, they are putting for you like romantic music. I thought the music is haram, you idiot. Don't you know the music is haram? What, the piano? Muslim, you play piano? Since when? All right. Yahya, this was the video of Yahya Waloni. Yahya Waloni. What? Yahya Waloni? Yahya Waloni. Jesus killed Yahya Waloni. I was using, because you know, I have to be honest with you. My Indonesian became broken. I will tell you why, what happened. I am a kind of a person, if my car air conditioner is not working, my language, all of it is broken. I'm telling you. Like I speak Indonesian fluently. So I was like, okay, how I'm going to say Yahya, Jesus killed Yahya Waloni. So I asked my friend, his name is AI, and he said, okay, Yosos Memba Nuwa Yahya Waloni. All right, so yeah. And this is like, you know what happened. And here they put him in the floor. Breaking news. This is Tribun Taimur. Music, look at the music. The Muslims, they love the music, man. The guy is just do you know, guys, okay, do you know how to be sure if he is dead or not? Do what the Muslims usually do. Like there's a story of a guy, he died, and one smart Muslim, I don't know if he's from Indonesia, I think his last name was Waloni, something like this, you know. So he said, this person is not dead. You know, the Muslim, when somebody die, they take off his clothes, and yeah, he will have to be naked, you know. And then at the end, they rob him with the sheet, you know, white sheet, and then they bury him. So one of the smart Muslims from Indonesia, to be honest, he's not from Indonesia. He is from Nishan, you know. I'm just being honest with you. You know, I mean, excuse me. I know, Muslim, they will say you to Christian Prince, he lie. It's okay. But I'm telling you, I just corrected. It's not Indonesia. It's not from Indonesia. It's from Indonesia. Nissan, yeah, Mazda, Yahya, you know, Toyota, whatever. You know, like he's from one of those islands. You know the thing. So this guy, he said he is not dead. They told him, how you know? He said, for if you put your finger in his anus, you will see that it is still hot. And then everyone in the funeral, one after one, they start placing their fingers in the anus of the dead man. And guess what? The guy did not get resurrected from putting their fingers in his anus, even though he was a gay. Still he's dead. So why you don't put your finger in his butt, as you Muslims do usually, to check if somebody is dead or not, to be sure what this is like, you know, what the guy, he put his hand over his head, the other guy, he is putting his finger over his nose, and the guy is not saying anything. He did not even say, stop touching me. I think he enjoyed it, you know. Guys, I just made a challenge to Allah. I said, before I finish my conversation, my sentence, if you are a true God, kill me. Nothing happened. What? I feel something here. Oh, no, this was gas. Sorry. I mean, you don't hear it. I try to make it silence on purpose. It was gas. I thought Allah is doing something. You know, finally, like He's moving, but nothing can move Allah. I mean, who can move Allah? Nobody can move Allah. I mean, even you, the only thing can move Allah is Kamala Harris. Like, he was astonished. Like, what has been burdened, but what has been burdened by who? You know. So Allah was like, wow, there's somebody beating me in confusion. Who is this? You know, like, what's her name? They told him Kamala. He said, Kamala? Let me check my book. Oh, Prophet Kamala. I sent Prophet Kamala. Is she Kamala from Kyrgyzstan? No, sir, it's not. She is not from Kyrgyzstan. Okay, hold on. Let me look again. Is she Kamala from Kamala land? You know, you are getting close, you know. Yeah, very, very close. Is she Kamala? Allah, you are Allah. I mean, come on, you should know right away. Why you are guessing? I forgot in the Quran, you keep saying Asa. I mean, the whole Quran keeps saying Allah, He guess. Can you believe it? Does God, He guess? Asa. Asa what? Asa, look how many times Allah used the word perhaps. Perhaps. I mean, English is really weird. Perhaps. Perhaps. What haps alone mean? Hold on. Let me ask one of the hookers, which I always ask her for questions and answers. Lily J, what perhaps origin?
Warrington, Florida, has its origins closely tied.
I said perhaps. It says Florida. Hold on. What the word perhaps origin coming from?
The word perhaps originates from the late 15th century, evolving from the earlier perhap, mid-14th century. It's formed from two main components, per or par, meaning by or through, from Latin per, hap, meaning chance or fortune, from Old Norse hap. So perhaps literally means by chance or through chance. It followed the pattern of similar words like peradventure and perchance, which are now largely superseded by perhaps.
I got it. So Allah, He's saying perchance, maybe Allah can do this and that. Me. And this is Allah talking, saying perhaps. It was weird that perhaps the origin of it was of Florida. I was saying, what? It turned to be no. It is, there is a hope. Look how the Muslim translate the word perhaps. There is a hope. Are you sure? Asa mean hope? This is new. Muslims, asa mean hope.
Maybe. Asa.
عسعوس. عسى يعسعس عسعوسا عساعيس. يا متاعيس المسلمين. قال عسى ربكم. Mean عسى أن يكون. Mean is getting even, you know, like what? Allah do not know if their day is coming or not. Look, look, look. Allah is saying to those people, don't they look in the dominion of the heaven and the earth and all things that Allah has created, and that it may be that the end of their lives is near? Maybe. You are Allah, right? You know, what do you mean maybe? They don't want to believe in you, so get them busted, say you will live like this. Everybody will be astonished, like, wow, you will die in Wednesday, you know, in the month of potato, in the year of Sarakato. Like, what the heck? And perhaps mean Florida. Oh boy. Here it says, perhaps Allah will have mercy on you. And this is Allah is talking. And look at the Muslims translation, look. And we said in the Torah, Allah, He said, it may be that your Lord may show mercy unto you. But aren't you Allah? What do you mean maybe? So let us guess what happened with the Waloni. Ustaz Waloni, he said to himself, it may be that Jesus is not God, so I'm going to challenge him to make me die. And it may be Allah will protect me. And then the maybe did not work, you know. He was screwed. Do we have anyone here from the followers of Waloni? Do we have anyone here from the followers of Prophet Waloni? Ustad Yahya Waloni. Hold on, what this word mean? Google Translate. English, Indonesian. No, we want the opposite. Waloni, but we need the real name in the, I think, how they write it in English. Is it the same? Waloni? Yeah, here, Waloni. Okay, I'll try. What the heck? His real name? Oh, I don't know. What the heck is that? Phone Hon? His name is Phone Hon Ek? I don't know what is that. I mean, this Google is confused. Forget. Do we have any Muslim from the religion of Yahya Waloni would like to join us and tell us why you Muslims you challenge Jesus? What about challenge Allah? I mean, which one is important for you? Here we go. You Muslims, you pray to Allah to kill the Jews, and nothing happened. Oh Allah, protect Gaza. Gaza is shish kebab. Oh Allah, destroy America. America is growing and bigger, and you are getting weaker and weaker. And Abdul, What about you challenge Allah to feed the people of Somalia? Make a challenge, says, oh Allah, if you are God, I challenge you that tomorrow is going to rain. Food on the people of Gaza and Somalia. What do you think? Any Abdul? Do you remember where in your book it says that Allah, He made the sky rain food on the Jews? On the Jews. Allah, He sent not only like food, He sent like really nice food, like some tasty juicy things nobody knows where it's coming from, and birds. Yeah, this is in the Quran. What do you mean it's not? Yeah, in the Quran. Okay, let me show you. If you go in the Quran, you will see Allah. I mean, look how lucky those Jews. Anything will happen, the Jews get it. Look at this. Look how many times. 3 times in the Quran mentioned that Allah, He make the sky rain food on the Jews. Not only that, the Jews, they never carry umbrella with them. Yes, they walk in the street, there is a cloud in the top of them. Natural umbrella. And we shaded you with the cloud and sent down on you al-manna and the quills. The quills come from the sky? Is that a story Muhammad is stealing from somewhere? Remember, Muhammad, you don't steal stories, by the way. This is a story Muhammad, he knew about it. The Jews never heard of this. And always those miracles happen to people who they are not Muslims. Very weird. Why Allah now is not making the sky rain man, shrimp, shawarma, shish kebab? I mean, I have to start with it have to be with sheen, Why Allah, He only send food like rain on the Jews? I mean, the Jews are rich. Always the Jews get everything. Any Abdul? Even the Jews, they don't buy umbrella. They walk in the street like, hold on, Jack Shalom, don't walk in the street. I will put a cloud on you to be in the shade. Jack Shalom, he says, oh Allah, I mean, are you stalking me? Wherever I go, you are looking like, what's wrong with you? Or Jack Shalom, are you hungry? Let me, and the sky start raining shawarma. Shawarma was falling down from everywhere. Hold on. I got an idea. I will ask AI to make an image for me. Jewish man and the sky falling down with sandwiches of shawarma all around him like rain. Let's see what AI, sometimes AI says to you, this is not appropriate request, we apologize. Potato. Politically correct. Let us see. Yeah, because I want you to imagine how Allah made those miracles happen. Only Allah can do this miracle. The God of the Jews and the Christians cannot. Oh, okay. We got an image. Let us show you what Allah He sent upon those Jews, brother and sister. All right. Do you see it? Isn't it this is beautiful if you are a Jew? Like, you know, you are a Jew, and Allah He loved the Jews. And in the Jews, they want to eat, and they don't want to spend money, you know? So they said to themselves, okay, Allah, do something, you know, come on. You know, hey, what are you for? Who need you? No, you know, just, so Allah right away, bingo. And look, do you see the cloud? I did not even ask for the cloud. Guys, did you see? Did you see in the screen? It's a miracle. Did I ask AI to add a cloud in the sky? No. It's exactly as in the verse. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. The cloud is there. The food is coming from everywhere. And this guy is a Jew, and he is enjoying his meal. You Muslims, is this story is true? Why the Jews always lucky? Free credit card, free insurance, free food from the sky. Allah favored them upon all mankind. I mean, and the most smart people in the world are Jews. I have to say, according to some books, they say that the Arab, they invented a lot of things. And then if you check, you will find that none of them is an Arab. All those scientists, they claim that they are Arab, none of them are Arab, and none of them is a Muslim. Do we have any Muslim from the family of Waloni? Well, like any Muslim from what the name of the country? Indonesia. It's hard for me to remember the small countries, you know. Indonesia, 200 million, you know. My tribe, my Arabian tribe is bigger than that. You know, I mean, we can make babies. You go to Gaza, and they say to you there's genocide, right? Every day the population of Gaza increase 5,000, but there's genocide, and they have no food, but they have energy for sex and make babies. They are hungry. We are hungry. There is no food. And then boing, the women buzzing boys and girls from everywhere. But they have no food. Oh, you know what? Because they have no food, they have a lot of sex. Yeah? Like, I don't want to speak dirty, but somebody is eating somebody. Do we have any Abdul would like to join us so we can open Discord? Denzel, we have a person whose name is Denzel. Denzel, you are a Muslim, my friend. You wanna call me? Your name is Denzel or Diesel? Stop now. Love them if you are the Christian prince. Love who? What do you mean love them? Love who? Any Abdul? By the way, I put the picture of the sandwich. Look how the number increase of the viewers. I mean, people are so into food, man. Let me make the image bigger. Look, let us see how many people would join right away. Just say food, man. Just say food. If I change the title now, says a free food, mean the saliva will be running. Any Mohammedan? Anyone? Okay, any two? I'm telling you, I will make money if you go to the kitchen very soon. Just wait. This is what they do in commercial, you know. They put food for you in the middle of the movie, like you are watching the movie, and then suddenly say cheese. This cheese is the best in the world. It's true that we don't know what it's made of, and we never ate it, but it's so tasty. And then bring you an artist from those trashy artists, nobody will hire them no more, even though they are famous, making a commercial for cheese, candies, anything, stupid thing, credit card. I mean, I don't respect any of those famous actors. They have houses owned like millions of dollars, yet they are doing commercial for candies. What a stupid people. So guys, CP is showing love to Muslims by showing them that Allah, not God, before it is too late. Yeah, this is your interpretation of Ibn Kathir for what I'm doing. No. You know, I'm not showing love to the Muslims. I'm showing them that they are idiots. You explain it as you wish. Make a book about it. Who don't like it? Jump from the window if you don't like what I'm doing. I am showing the Muslims they are a bunch of idiots. What do you say about it? Prove me wrong. Like, you see, a God who promised somebody that his penis will be endless, is he an idiot or an idiot? I mean, what kind of people believe that there's a God, he will make your penis endless if you believe in him? And this God is making a lot of women for me for sex, and it take Allah 1,000 years to smooth her skin. Why? Is she an alligator? I mean, even if she is an alligator, use Nivea, Vaseline. It take 1,000 years to make a woman's skin smooth. Why? She is Nancy Pelosi? I mean, what exactly Allah is preparing for us in heaven? Seriously. I am assuming that all of them, they will look like Nancy Pelosi. By the way, this is Pelosi is a normal name? Is that really like a normal name, or like something happened? Anyway, you know, she's a good woman. You know, she buys stocks and they never lose. Not because she is using the information she got from her job, which is not exist in the Congress. No. It's luck. You know, Nancy Pelosi, any stock she buy, 2 days after they will be skyrocketing. It's a luck. You know, good luck. Yeah. Do we have any Muslim from the Nancy Pelosi religion? Nancy Pelosi, she's very corrupt. No, come on. Respect yourself. That is really offensive. Don't say that. What's wrong with you? This woman, when she entered the Congress, she have $10,000 in her account. Now she have only $100 million in her account. Nothing much. Just think about it. And you are saying she's corrupt? Crazy people. Hold on. I don't know, by the way. I don't know if she have $100 million or not. You know, she did not show me her bank account yet. But I will. I'm going to start date her like Mohammed, because Mohammed, he look for old women, he date them, he take their money. Just wait. I'm waiting for her husband to die to date her. You know. Let me ask Lily J. How much Nancy Pelosi money she have in her bank?
As of June 1st, 2025, Quiver Quantitative estimates Nancy Pelosi's net worth to be approximately $260.6 million. This makes her the...
I said 100. I thought I'm exaggerating. What the heck? I mean, those people are really suffering. and she have like almost $250 million, yet she don't want to leave the Congress because she want to get more rich. She's almost dead, but she will not leave. She want to make more money. More money. Money. Money, money, money. Any Abdul? I mean, why not? Even Allah himself, he promised the Muslims if they invest with him, Allah will give them interest. I thought Islam is against interest, which is not. Allah, he said to them, if you let me borrow money from you, I will multiply it many times for you. All right? من ذا الذي يقرض الله قرضا حسنا فيضاعفه له أضعافا كثيرة. كبير. Okay. So if we give Allah now $100, he will make it multiply like Nancy Pelosi? And why Allah need a godly loan? Isn't it he God? What kind of God he need to borrow money? Huh? Sound like you are right in my ear, CP. My new headphones. Okay, Skycat wanna tell all the girls and the boys in the chat that now he got rich like Nancy Pelosi and he bought a new headphones. So he had to publish this in the chat so everybody knows that he is now driving his head with the most expensive headphone from Walmart for $6. Okay, Skycat, they got it. Anything else? You are my head. Oh boy. I hear you. Oh, what else? I hear an echo. Oh, okay, because I'm speaking from the bathroom anyway. Can you see the word Mohammed? Mohammed, Mohammed. Oh boy. How is the headphone working? Is it good? I hope so. Come on, Abdul. Who wanna give a Christian prince a godly loan? I will give it to you back in heaven. Multiple. Man, imagine I open a bank and Muslims, they put their investment, they receive it in the heaven. Oh boy. That is the biggest scam ever. Any Abdul? CP is the best for information about religion only? What about headphones? I just mentioned how headphones. Didn't I just make a review of headphone, guys? I mean, do you see, guys, they don't give me my right. He's the best about religion. Not true. Not true. I know about everything. Hold on. Just to show you. You don't believe me, right? How much worth of Joe Biden?
As of May 2025, Joe Biden's estimated net worth is between $9 million and $10 million. This wealth primarily...
How I know that? And you are telling me I know only about religion. What's wrong with you? I mean, you guys are not being fair. Anyway, I feel always unfair. The life is unfair to me. Like even when I go in the airplane, I say, oh, please, not this one. Not this one. And then the woman who she looked like she is in the size of 4 men, she sat next to me. And then she sleep on my shoulder. And then the girl from the airline company, she comes, she says, sir, what your wife should like to eat? I mean, do you see how lucky I am? This is a wife. I mean, I can't even breathe. I don't know her. My wife. Like from all the ladies, the skinny ones, only the heavy duty sit next to me and hardly I can breathe. Anyway, this is not our topic. Forget about it. We don't follow at all Bible, no teaching of Bible in the Quran, No, I know you don't follow the Bible. I know you follow Muhammad. By the way, just to prove to you don't follow Muhammad, did you cut your penis by the ads? You Muslim, you claim that you are Abrahamic, and Muhammad, he claimed that he followed the teaching of Abraham. Okay, how Abraham cut his penis? Which, yeah, like a circumcision. Why you Muslim don't do the same? If you claim that you are Abrahamic. Man, this guy Abraham, his penis must be so big, like maybe 10 foot something, to the point scissor will not work. He said, my wife, I have to cut my penis. She said, honey, should I bring the shovel? He said, no, that will hurt. She said, what about the slash hammer? He said, may Allah slash you. Sledgehammer? What are you talking about? That will make a shish kebab. Okay, so what we would do? So Abraham, he sent his wife to the Muslim Home Depot, not our Home Depot, Muslim Home Depot, because they have to use halal, tools. So she get halal ads, and then he put his penis on the table, and the hammer was really, the ads was big, really huge. His wife, she's a woman, she could not carry it, and Abraham, his hand cannot reach there. I'm telling you, it's so big, very endless, If you don't believe me, by the way, the Muslims believe that all those names the Muslims they have, they are very, very, very tall. Like as an example, not limited. All right. I will show you which one we will show you first. Hold on, because I don't want to scare you, to be honest with you. All right, let us show you this one here. Are you ready? I know that you will be like wow. You might convert to Islam, by the way, after you see this. I'm telling you, like the tomb of Hazrat Noah. This is Noah. Nuh. This is the son of Adam, Noah. The son of Noah grave. The Muslim, they have it. I mean, nothing is left in Islam they don't have. Look at his grave, how long it is. Man, look how tall. This is why he is so skinny. If he is so big like this, I mean, how he can walk? Are you sure this is the grave of Noah, not a grave of a macaroni? This is macaroni? I mean, sorry, this is Noah? Man, this is the end. Like, this is his foot. And look, the Quran is all over around, and Muslims from around the world, they come. Why there is two graves? This one look different. This is not the same one. Okay, forget about this. Yeah. Let us see. Look, I found the tomb of Noah in different place. I mean, you Muslims, how many Noah you have? This is the same guy, Noah? Man, where is the picture? Hold on. Let me try this. Where is the? Oh, here we go. Guys, let me show you the. This is another grave for Noah, not the same one. I think Noah, he died like in many places, you know, like there's many Noah. Noah FM, Noah shortwave. Look at this. This is Noah grave too. And look at the flowers around him. Jasmine. So beautiful. Man. You see, those Christians don't know where Noah's grave is. The Muslim, they have anything you want. Any grave you want in the world. Even they have the grave of Adam. Hold on, let me show you. You think I'm joking, right? And not only Adam, they even have the grave of his wife, Mrs. Eve. Look at this. This is the grave of Prophet Adam. Me. 200-foot long grave of Adam, because Adam, according to Muhammad, he was very tall, you know, he was like 60 meters tall, you know. I don't know why he getting short, because I mean my grandfather was like 300 meters tall, you know. Why Adam was short? You know, evolution. This is Adam. Okay, but this is the same guy. Okay, this is the grave of Job. The Muslim, they have a grave of everybody. This is Job. Man, oh man. Oh, look, this is the same guy, Adam and his wife, but in different location, because Adam, he died in many places, I'm telling you. The tomb of Adam and Eve in Sri Lanka. They are in Sri Lanka, yeah, Allah, because Allah sent Adam to Sri Lanka. Adam is from Sri Lanka. This is why, you know, Adam, when he came to Sri Lanka, the first thing he drank, it was tea. Sri Lankan tea. Original, very original, you know. And this, which one is Eve? Let me guess. The one in the left. You know? I don't know. I mean, women, they can be more fat. Which one is Adam? He Muslims, which one? And why Eve in that? Was Eve in the same size of Adam? Mean. She was that tall, really, like him, huh? It makes sense. I mean, imagine he want to hug her. He have to bend down? No way. So Allah made her the same height, you know. This is the same Adam and Eve, but in different location. Who is this guy? Subversion of Sri Lanka King Manahava Mama. Come on. I mean, this is AI. What are you talking about? This is the king who was 718 CE. Okay. True story. All right. Thank you very much. Let us go to more graves. Oh, this is the grave of the sons of Adam. The tomb of Habil. What is Kabil? Cain and Abel. Why he's so short? How come his father is so tall and the son is so short? Maybe, you know, his mother, she sat on him after she gave birth to him. Like maybe at that time Eve, she didn't know how to take care of kids, so she was acting like a chicken. So she gave birth to her son and she sat on him. So he shrunk. You know? Okay, who else? This is the grave. Hazrat Yushi. This is Hazrat Yushi? No way. How is Yushi doing? I mean, you Muslims have a grave for everybody. Just to tell you why the Muslims, they make those graves, just to collect money. This is a scam. You build a grave, you announce that we found the grave of somebody, Noah, etc. People they start coming, giving donation, cry on the grave. You know, it's a scam. You know, and this is why you find the same person grave exists in every Muslim country. Look, this is another grave for Noah. Look what happened. This is the same guy. Oh, look his ship. Look at this. Look. And the name of Muhammad is in the ship, and Ali. Me. I don't know how big my grave is going to be. I mean, they have to make me two pieces. Excuse my language. If you have children, don't listen. Listen, we are talking about Islam. As long Allah will make my penis endless. So imagine how big the grave only for my penis. But this is Muslims. I mean, you have a grave for everybody. Man, oh man. Oh, this is the footstep of Adam in Sri Lanka. When Adam he landed in Sri Lanka. I don't know if you saw the video of Mufti Menk. He will tell you about when Prophet Adam, I mean, Muslims, what is the prophecy of Adam? You say he's a prophet. What is his prophecy?
Of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he says that Adam alayhi salam nazala fil Hind. He came down in what is known as the Indo-Pak subcontinent. Precisely Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
There is a mount there known as Adam's Peak. If you go there, you will find it green and beautiful, as though it is not from this earth, but it is. I'm not trying to imply anything, but I'm just saying it is so beautiful, maybe because the Sri Lankans have kept it that way.
Maybe.
But it's a beautiful place. It is said that there is a possibility that is the place. We don't know for certain that spot is the place, but roughly there.
Muslims do not know for certain. Your prophet says Sri Lanka. What's wrong with you?
What about Hawa? Where did she come down?
Where?
In Jeddah.
Adam he landed in India, and Eve she landed in Saudi Arabia. Why? Like her parachute pushed by wind? Mean, how they meet each other again? So I am Adam now, I am in Sri Lanka, and my wife Eve, she landed in Jeddah. At that time there was Jeddah. Really? Yeah, tell us more about geography. Yeah.
It is said that there is a possibility that is the place. We don't know for certain that spot is the place, but roughly there. What about Hawa? Where did she come down?
Where?
In Jeddah. Where is Jeddah? Jeddah is in the Arabian Peninsula, in what we know today as Saudi Arabia. And what is the meaning of Jeddah or Jeddah or Juddah? It means the grandmother. It is named after her.
Subhanallah.
Now what happened? They started looking for each other. I remember, meaning I can imagine, I'm just saying it for myself, I can imagine them thinking, I remember there was someone, you know, we had Hawa here, where is she? Let's start looking. And he started looking, subhanallah. If you picture it, you can imagine. And Adam alayhi salam began to walk. And he started walking towards where the sun was setting. He started walking towards the west.
Okay.
And Eve, Hawa alayhi salatu wasalam, as a female, she didn't walk too much, but she also tried to look for...
True story.
Adam alayhi salam. No, that does not mean that women are not interested. No, not at all.
No.
And according to what some of the historians have to say...
Historian. Listen. According to some of the historian. Abdul, Sri Lanka is an island. How Adam can walk? How he can cross from Sri Lanka into India? There's no land. Sri Lanka is an island, you donkey. He start walking? Walking down the street, la 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 la, la 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 la, taradam taradam. We have somebody saying in Rumble, there's people saying that a Muslim waiting for you in Discord. Okay, I will log in Discord for maybe 20 minutes or 15 minutes to see if there is a Muslim waiting for me. I hope he is not so strong. All right. All right. Where is the Muslim? I don't see any Muslim in Discord waiting for me. Is that a fake news? Yeah. Do you guys hear me in Discord? Am I heard in Discord? I guess nobody hear me still. Let me come out and get in again. Am I heard, guys, in Discord? Can you hear me? All right, thank you very much. How is my voice doing? La 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 la. Abdul, where is the Abdul? Where is the Abdul? Hey Abdul, we make a symphony for you. Where are you? Where is the Abdul? Wanna debate me? Where is the Abdul? Okay, we will give him some time to sharpen his teeth. Maybe his teeth is not sharpened enough for now. He's not ready. You know the thing. By the way, any Muslim can debate me. It's so easy. All right. We invited our friend Abdullah. I didn't invite you. Why you don't come to the stage? All right, go ahead.
And your Bible says kill babies. Where in the Quran can you show me it says kill babies?
Okay.
Show me.
Do you want to challenge me?
Yes.
But what if this is true?
It's not true.
No, I'm saying what if, I mean, when you say the Bible kill babies, says kill babies, does that mean the Bible is evil, bad, disgusting?
Yeah, of course.
All right. But isn't it your God? He did the flood of Noah and everybody died, including babies?
Show me.
What do you mean, show me? You do not know about the flood of Noah?
Yes, I know.
So, when the flood of Noah, how many people survived?
Yeah, I don't know, but you cannot compare it with the Bible. It says, kill babies, kill babies.
So look at you. Okay. So now, hold on. So now, look what you just said. You said that if the Bible says that there's a God, he teach to kill babies, that book is evil. But your God, he did kill babies, and you admit, because everybody who live in this earth, according to the Quran, died, only Noah and his family survived. Correct?
Yeah, you have to show me where in the Quran it says that.
So you think in the Quran did not say about the flood of Noah?
I said, like I said, show me.
Are you really a Muslim, or you are a shish kebab?
I'm Muslim.
So how come you do not know about the story of Noah?
I know I'm not knowledgeable about Islam, but
right.
I know Islam is a
let us make shish kebab together. Here we go. I will share my screen with you.
One more thing.
I will share my screen with you. Watch with me. Read for me. What this is story is. What this is story about this? Read for me. Chapter 18, verse number 74.
Then they both proceed till they made a boy. He killed a Musa. Said, "Have you killed an innocent person?"
Uh-huh.
What killed? No. Surely you have committed a thing, a nuclear, a great evil. Okay.
What okay? This is the Prophet Al-Khadr teaching Prophet Moses how to be a good Muslim. He meet a little boy in the street and he is a Muslim boy. He smashed his head in the wall and then he cut his head with a knife.
But can you compare with this that it says in the Bible?
What do you mean compare? Guys, look at this. Can you compare? Can you compare? At least first, hold on. First of all, they did not kill babies. Secondly, this is a Muslim kid. Those are the enemies. The enemies, they attack the Jews. They kill their babies. They kill their women. Even your Quran, if you go to the Quran chapter,
No.
hold on, you potato. I can show you the same story from the Quran, you donkey. Chapter 2, verse number 246. Go read it. This is the same story. Your Quran, your Muhammad is copying the Jews. So those people, they killed every single person of the Jews. They open the belly of the Jewish women and they take her baby out to kill him. That's how much hate they have. So God command them, go and do justice, because those people, they will grow, they will kill you. But they did not listen to God. The Jews did not. Here, this kid, his boy, is a Muslim. He is a son of a Muslim family. He commit no sin, no crime, and there's no war. So why your Allah commanded Al-Khadr to kill the boy who is a Muslim?
Okay, maybe you are right.
What do you mean maybe you are right?
But I have another thing.
Don't change topic. Don't change topic. Don't jump like a monkey. Are you trying to be a monkey now?
No.
It is you who opened the topic. Don't run away from your topic. This is your topic. I'm not the one who told you talk about this or that. It's your topic. You came here laughing. Now you are crying. So now tell me, is it okay to kill a Muslim boy in Islam?
No.
So Allah was wrong.
I don't know.
What do you mean I don't know?
Like I said, I don't know.
What do you mean I don't know? This is Quran.
I didn't read about this.
I don't care. This, you're talking to Christian Prince. I just taught you, no problem. I am the one who have all the laundry of Muhammad. So now, your God, your God.
Wait. Can I ask something?
You want to change topic?
Yes.
Okay. But do you promise me if we change topic, you don't change the topic again?
No, I have two topics.
No problem. But we have to finish one by one. We have to finish one by one.
God logic is destroyed in London with all the scholars there. Ali Dawah was destroying God logic. And the second one.
Okay, hold on. No, don't change. If Ali Dawah can destroy God logic, why he don't dare to destroy me? I mean, I went to his channel. He was live, and he ran away like a kid. Not only that, he said to me, the video is there. People, they can share it with you. He said, Christian Prince, if you are a Christian Prince, I am Muslim princess. He called himself princess. He was so nervous.
A few years ago, you was live with him with Mohammed Hijab.
I called Muhammad Hijab. He hung up on me 7 times, and he refused to let me ask him a question. He's a potato coward. And he cut an audio. He cut an audio of a Muslim woman. She called me. She said that Jesus, he played with his mother boobs, which means she is a Muslim whore. He cut the audio. He claims she is so young when she is a Muslim whore. She is insulting Jesus. He cut the audio. The video is there. We can watch it. And because he is a filthy scumbag, he is not decent. He cut the audio. He says, look what Christian Prince is saying. I say, you are saying this to a Muslim women? I said, I was quoting your filthy prophet. Is it true that your prophet, he command women to do breastfeeding for adult? Abdul?
I don't know about that.
Okay, I can teach you.
I'm not.
No, hold on. Hold on. What do you mean you do not know? Everything I say to you, you say I don't know. So what do you know exactly? Muhammad Hijab himself.
I know that the Quran has never changed and the Bible.
Okay, we will go to the Quran never changed. But isn't it Muhammad Hijab, he go around and he asked Muslim women to suckle him?
I don't know. Yeah, could be.
Okay, but why he is doing that? Isn't this the teaching of the Prophet?
No.
So where he is getting this from?
I don't know. He can everybody does. But he was running away from
what do you
Sheikh
mean?
Udman. He was running
Hold
away
on.
from Sheikh Udman.
But listen. What do you mean I don't know? Each time I show you, look, this is Muhammad Hijab. This is a post from Muhammad Hijab in Twitter saying to a Muslim sheikh, okay, can I suck your wife tits?
Did he say that?
Yes.
Okay, but so what I have to say about that?
You
So
tell
this
me.
is his opinion. This is his opinion. I did never say that.
What
Talk about Ali Dawah.
what do you mean opinion? What do you mean exactly by saying opinion? What do you mean opinion?
He can talk whatever he wants. It's not up to me what he wants.
No, it's not up. It's not about whatever you want and you want. It's about your prophet. He command Muhammad Hijab and Muslim women to give their boobs. Everybody know that.
Okay.
Okay.
So now.
What?
But you that doesn't make sense that you are afraid of him. And
I am afraid of him. I'm the one who called him. He hang up on me, the coward. If you are afraid of somebody, if you are afraid of somebody, do you go to debate him and he hang up on you? Who is the one who hang up on me? Him. Did he even let me ask question? Never. Coward. He brought 5-6 Muslims supposedly to debate me. None of them was able to talk. I could not ask him a question. So listen.
And why do
Listen.
Yes.
I want to ask you a challenge. What about you take my offer to Ali Dawah and his girlfriend Lady Dawah, and even he can invite his secret wife, so we can have a debate, and I will make you the admin of the debate. What do you think? You are the moderator. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay. So do you promise me that you will carry my video like now? You copy it and you take it to Lady Dawah and Mimi Hijab and their secret wife, and they say Christian Prince he challenged you to debate, and I will be the moderator, and you are a Muslim. He have no excuse.
Yes, I will do it. I will do.
Okay, wonderful. So now
they're very busy, not like you, 20 people.
Busy. What 20 people? I have thousands of people watching me. What are you talking about? What 20 people?
Yeah, I see 20 people online.
This is in Discord, you idiot. I am in Rumble. I am in YouTube. I am everywhere. Don't you know that the Muslims they made a PhD about me? Don't you know that? PhD study in their Islamic universities about Christian Prince. They come with the conclusion.
Why don't you face-to-face debate?
I don't. If I face-to-face, he will die from fear. You Muslims are potato. Okay. Here we go. God logic. He go face-to-face. What you did? You said to me he destroyed them. How he destroyed them?
You lost everything.
Hold on. Isn't it? This is Ali Dawah. Is the one who says God cannot be inside his creation?
Yes.
Okay. But isn't it Ali Dawah himself? He says Allah enter his creation.
Yes.
Okay. So he just said confirm that Allah cannot be God, because if he say in one video God cannot be God if he enter his creation because he is dependent, and then he admit that his God he enter his creation, and you agreed, you said yes, that mean Ali Dawah refuted Ali Dawah and defeated Islam, and this is why Ali Dawah is the best Muslim for Christianity. He is the one who defeated Islam without debate. So Allah
he can make mistakes.
What mistakes? Okay, how many? Okay, hold on. How many mistakes you need to do? I mean, we are talking about mistakes will destroy Islam.
Yeah, this is a debate for 2 hours. Then you have.
Listen. First, there is no debate of the debate. This guy Ali Dawah, he go and buy a toy for his daughter, and then God logic, even though he is not really too much expert with the garbage of Muhammad, even though he wiped the floor with him. Come on, be honest, man. Anyway, listen, if you want to talk about Ali Dawah and those Muslims, bring them with you. Why you don't Muslims? Why you don't Muslims ambush me? As an example, once I remember, apostate prophet, he went to a Muslim channel to debate them. So they brought him, surprise, Muhammad Hijab. Why you the Muslim don't do that to me?
Yeah, okay.
What about you call me? What about next time you call me? But don't tell me that Muhammad Hijab is next to you. Okay?
Actually, what about Sheikh Udman?
About who?
Sheikh Udman.
What is the name?
Sheikh Udman.
Sheikh
Udman.
And this
Uthman.
guy is a potato. He doesn't even know how to read the Quran. He had words in the Quran. This
But
guy,
was that when Shem Shamoun and David Wood was there by Sheikh Udman? Shem Shamoun doesn't have to look, was afraid to look Sheikh Udman in his eyes. He was running away.
no,
Shem
listen,
Shamoun.
first of all, I'm not here to defend Samshun, but your Uthman, even he invited him to home to eat with him in the month of Ramadan. You are a potato. Watch the video. Even he gave him a hug. So you are stupid again.
It's a good deed.
Shamshun, no. They gave each other hugs and they exchanged phones. So why you are lying, saying he ran away, etc.?
You have to admit that Shem Shamoun was running away. Come on.
Well, I have to admit that Uthman cannot debate anybody. He's a potato. Otherwise, why he debate with people? I don't care about Sam Shamoun. If he want to debate me, he will go. I'm here. What is missing? What about
And
you
then
do
in
this?
the
Listen. I just got an additional mission for you. What about you call this guy Uthman now and let him debate me now? Now.
he's busy.
What busy?
You have 20 people here in Discord. Yeah, he has many
I
followers.
have thousands of
He's
people.
just
I have thousands of people listening, Abdul. I told you I am not only. I just opened Discord. I was not in Discord. I just opened Discord because they told me there's a guy. His name is Abdullah. When I talk to you, I just came for you.
okay.
I wasn't here.
Okay. Last question, huh?
No, don't
Where
change.
in the
No. I want you to call Uthman right away. How you know he's busy? Are you his boyfriend? How you know? Call the guy first. Call him right now. I want to hear it.
He has no Discord.
What do you mean Discord? Call him with the phone.
Yeah, I don't have his number.
What? You don't have his number? So you Muslim have his wife number, but you don't have his number? How come you have his wife number?
I don't have his wife's number.
What do you mean? He took the wife of this guy. What his name, guys? What his wife name? The wife of that guy, Lebanese guy. Sheikh Uthman is a very good guy. The guy, he asked him to fix the problem between him and his wife, and then Sheikh Uthman, he took the wife, and he claimed he married her, but she's not divorced yet. This is your Sheikh Uthman.
But he said in one
Listen.
video, he said
Sheikh
if
Uthman.
Christian Prince wants, he can debate with me.
I am here. Here we go. Give me give me his Skype or his Discord. I will call him. Fair? No. The one who make excuses, listen, the one who says I debate face to face, ass to ass, is the one making excuse, trying to hide behind the curtain like Allah. The one who want to make things happen, he just jump and do it. So obviously all of you Muslims are a bunch of potatoes. Here we go. Like, look what happened to you. You came here laughing, ha 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 ha, the Bible. In 20, not even 2 seconds, I get you busted. This is what will happen to Uthman. In fact, I think you know about Islam more than him. This guy, Uthman, did you see his video? He claimed that in Islam there's many Messiah.
Yes, one Messiah.
No, he
Not
said
many
no. He
Messiah.
said there's many Messiah.
Only Isa is Messiah.
Exactly. So how he is a sheikh, but he think there's many Messiah, and then the stupid, because he didn't know Arabic, he went to a book and he looked for a word. It says Masaha. He thought this is the Messiah. Stupid idiot, he didn't know Arabic. And then all the Muslims they start, even the Muslims they start laughing at him. Is that true? I can show you. I can show you the video.
Cyrus the Great was also mentioned as a Messiah.
Who?
Cyrus the Great from Persia.
No. He said in Islam there is many Messiah. Anyone else is not. In Islam that one is not a Messiah too. What are you talking about? There's only one Christ. And in Islam, he said there's many Messiah, which is false. Every Muslim knows that there's only one true Messiah and one false Messiah. They call him Ad-Dajjal, correct?
Okay, correct. But one thing what I want to say is that you said that I don't want to change the topic, but you said many times in your YouTube videos that Dr. Zakir Alexander the Great is mentioned in the Quran, but he's not mentioned in the Quran. I watch many scholars about Islam that Alexander the Great is not the person who is mentioned in the Quran.
All right. Who
You
is
said that
so who is he?
let me look. Wait a moment.
Are you going to ask DDJ?
I have to look it up in Google.
Oh, Google. Why you don't call Sheikh Uthman?
Dr. Zakir, if I say it correctly, Zulkarnain, I think, is mentioned as Alexander the Great.
Who?
But that is not Alexander the Great.
Who mentioned that he is the great? Me or Zakir Naik?
Now you said that Alexander the Great is mentioned in the Quran.
Yeah, I mentioned that this is what the Muslim believe.
No.
You want to bet?
Which imam or scholar says
you wanna bet? Don't waste my time, my friend. You wanna bet?
Okay, show me.
Okay, if we go to the Tafsir Ibn Kathir.
Yes.
All right. Do you accept Ibn Kathir or you not accept Ibn Kathir?
Yes, I accept him.
All right, that's good. All right, we will open for you Ibn Kathir, and we will put it for you in the screen.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready, but I have to say
don't say so. You say what say see? Are you start say now? You said you accept Ibn Kathir. You cannot change your mind.
Yes.
All right. So this is Tafsir Ibn Kathir. Let me wait for you on the screen. You see my screen?
Yes.
All right. And then we go in Ibn Kathir to verse number 83, chapter 18. Verse number 83, and we will show it to you on the screen. Hold on, give me a second. And then we go here. We show the screen for people in
You cannot find it.
What?
You cannot find it.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. Let us see. Let us see if I. All right. All right. This is Ibn Kathir, correct?
Yes.
All right. And this is the English version of it, correct?
Okay, but it says not.
Hold on.
Alexander the Great.
Don't change the topic. This is Ibn Kathir in English, and we cannot find it. We cannot find it in English, but I will show it to you in Arabic to show you that Muslims are a bunch of liars. This is the official government website of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. You know this website, right? It's called Quran KSU, which means Kingdom of Saudi Arabia Education. This is official government website. And this is Tafsir Ibn Kathir for the chapter of 18, verse number 83. And now here it says, he is from the Roman, and he is the one who built the city of Alexandria. Now apologize to Christian Prince.
That he was a young Roman, and that he built Alexandria.
Who is the one who is a Roman, and he built the city of Alexandria? I will give you three names. Sheikh Uthman, Zakir Naik, the secret wife of Mimi Hijab. Which one?
I think called logic.
Possible, but he is African. This guy is Roman.
Can you
What can you? I translate. It's in front of you. Don't you see my translation?
I see it.
All right. Does it say that he was a young Roman man, and he is the one who built the city of Alexandria?
I see it, yes.
Okay, who is the one who built the city of Alexandria?
Yeah.
What, yeah?
The Roman.
No, I know the Roman, but his name. Why it's called Alexandria? Why they call the city Alexandria? Let me
Yeah.
think. Let me
Maybe
think.
maybe maybe someone else.
No, he's a young man. He is a king, and the city is built called Alexandria, and he is the one who built it. Go check right now. Ask your girlfriend, Lady J, or Google, who is the one who built the city of Alexandria?
But all the scholars says that is not.
They are donkeys. You are
Alex.
talking to Christian Prince. Those are donkeys, my friend. Your scars are donkeys. I use them to go to Walmart for shopping. So you said to me, Zakir Naik, he said, no, it's not Alexander the Great. Here we go. I got you busted. You and Zakir Naik. Apologize. And you laugh.
Yes,
You said, hey, you cannot find it. Right? Here we go. It's in front of you. And this is the official.
Okay.
And by the way, why we cannot find it in the English website of Ibn Kathir? Why we cannot find it here? Do you know why? Because
No.
Muslims are a bunch of liars. They took it off.
Mm.
Because because they knew that people these days will laugh at Muhammad claiming that Zulqarnain is a Muslim prophet, which is Alexander the Great. They will die laughing at Muhammad. So they took it off from the English. I cannot find it here. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Interesting.
Why it's gone? What do you mean interesting? Apologize.
I apologize.
All right. Apologize again. I did not hear it.
I apologize.
What he said? He is what? Not apologize. Say, I apologize to you, Christian Prince, for making stupid mistake believing in Zakir Naik when you are the one who, the real teacher of Islam. Say it, see it correctly. Come on.
No, but I have another thing. The Quran is never
Don't change
changed.
topic. No, we cannot continue. I need to charge my battery. You have to apologize and say, Christian
I have
Prince.
to apologize to you, Christian Prince.
Okay, no, and say you have to continue. You know way better than all the Muslim scholars. I mentioned their names, including Zakir Naik. Say it.
No, that I would not say.
Why you will not? Zakir Naik, he said, no, Christian Prince is lying. You told me.
I don't know him.
What do you mean you don't? Isn't it you who said to me Zakir Naik did not accept that? And why you are saying that when Zakir Naik say no, it's not him? You said that to me.
No, I said Sheikh Udman said that. You can watch video.
Okay, then
on YouTube
then apologize and say, okay, Christian Prince, you are the scholar and Sheikh Uthman is a donkey. Because here we go, I prove it to you. This is your official Islamic website of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This is not a potato coming from Afghanistan like Sheikh Uthman, who do not know how to read his Quran. The guy, he claimed to have a master degree in the Hadith, yet he cannot read the Hadith. He can't say his prophet name correctly. Apologize. Say, Christian Prince.
I'm apologizing.
Not only, you have to add. And Sheikh Uthman is really idiot. Is an idiot.
He's really idiot.
Okay.
He's an idiot.
Okay, now we can go. Thank you very much. Okay, continue.
Okay, but the Quran has never changed.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
What if the Quran is changed? What will happen?
I don't know, but that is what I heard.
No, it's not about I heard. I want to know what the purpose of this question. When you say the Quran never changed, what are you trying to prove to me?
That the Quran is the holy word of Allah, and
okay, you
the
see?
Bible is many times correct.
So first of all, who cares if the Quran is the holy word of Allah or not? Because if Allah is not God, you call His word is holy or not, doesn't make any difference. So we can make this question two part. One is proving Allah cannot be God anyway. Secondly, you are saying to me the Quran did not change. That mean if did not change, that mean Allah is a true God, correct?
Yes.
I have my friend her, she have some knowledge. She taught me that the chapter of Al-Ahzab used to be equal to the chapter of Al-Baqarah, which means there's more than 213 verses are missing in one chapter alone in the Quran. What do you think about my friend who said that?
Yeah, but missing is not meaning that the Quran has changed.
No, it means it's changed. Because if the
How?
Quran is not preserved, that means it's changed. If Allah gave you a chapter equal to the chapter of Al-Baqarah, more than 280 verses, and then you Muslim, you ate it, the same as you took the story from Ibn Kathir, that means change. If I take 100 pages from a book, did I change it or not?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Apologize again.
Okay, but where can I?
No. We cannot continue. Apologize again.
No. I have to see that.
No. This it's not about seeing it now. You said to me, if the verses are gone, this is not a change. I got you busted. So now apologize, because this is a point. I'm making point. We're playing game now. Like, you know, those games, like they give you like 500 point, 2,000 point. Here we go. So now apologize again. Each time you apologize, I will gain 1,000 point.
I apologize again.
All right. So now let's go and prove it. This is Aisha.
Okay.
Let me wait for you on the screen. You know Aisha, right?
Yes, she's a good girl.
Good girl. You call your prophet wife good girl because she married a little girl, huh? All right, that's a good one. All right.
And how old was Isaac, or when he was married with Rebecca?
If you can show me the age of Isaac married from Rebecca, you are my hero. You are.
And do you know that King
you are listening to Sheikh Othman. We love. Listen. Okay, tell him to come and recite for me the verses saying that Rebecca was 3 years old, and we will die laughing. All right.
Okay.
So we will laugh at him. All right. So now we go to Aisha. Let us see. Let us see. All right. Now I want you to respect Aisha, please, because if you say Aisha is lying, that will be very bad, right? Are you there? Did he leave? What happened to this guy? Are you there? Abdul? Guys in Discord, can you hear me? Am I heard? What happened to this guy? Don't play dead. Where he go? I did not have enough apology. I need to make more apology. I cannot hear Abdullah. Okay, so he's talking. Okay, let me get out and come back then. So maybe this is from my side. Okay, give me a second. All right. Are you talking, Abdullah, now? Okay, now I hear you.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
look like there was a problem from my side. All right, no problem. All right, no problem. So let us see what Aisha she said.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Look with me. All of those are reference for the Quran is being corrupt. It says here. It says here that from Ibn Abi Ka'b, he said that Ibn Masood, he refused to add the verses al-Mu'awwadatayn to the Quran. And he says they are not from the Quran. And he said, Why you want to add to the Quran what is not and was not there?
Where is this?
Do you see it?
Yeah, bitch. Is this Quran?
This is Ibn Mas'ud. The Quran of Ibn Mas'ud, he don't have those verses. And he's saying, why you are putting in the Quran things is not there. The Quran of Ibn Mas'ud is not the same as the one of Hafs. And this is the one your prophet, he named him. Muhammad never saw Hafs. Hafs came 200 years after Muhammad. Muhammad said, you take the Quran from 4. One of them is Ibn Mas'ud. The Quran the Muslim today they take is not the book of this guy. So you Muslim disobey Muhammad and you follow a guy who was accused to be a liar by Muslims. So as you see Ibn Mas'ud saying that why you want to add to the Quran those verses if they are not from the Quran. Do you see it in Arabic?
I see.
Okay, can you read and translate for the people here? Inna Ibn Mas'ud. It will be funny if we have Sheikh Uthman here trying to read this for us. We will die laughing. كان يحك المعودتين. Do you know what يحك mean? He scratch him, he take them out, he erase it. So when he see any Quran have those verses, he scratched them, he erased them. And he said to people, why you are adding it there? Those are not from the Quran. You said to me, the Quran was not changed. It turned to be, even Ibn Mas'ud says, that the Muslims, they add verses to the Quran, they are not from there. Other reference, look at this. This
I have
is
nothing to do with Ibn Mas'ud.
what?
I have nothing to do with Ibn Mas'ud.
What do you mean you have nothing to do with it? This is your prophet command. He said, take the Quran from 4. Who are the 4? Ibn Mas'ud, one of them. Are you saying you don't listen to Muhammad?
I listen to Mohammed.
Okay. And this is Ibn Mas'ud, who your Muhammad said, you take the Quran from Ibn Mas'ud, and you say to me, I don't care what Ibn Mas'ud saying. That means you don't care what Muhammad saying, because Muhammad is the one who mentioned his name. In fact, he put his name first. Read it. This is Al-Bukhari. Your prophet says, take the Quran from 4. Can you tell me the names of the 4? Is he talking, guys?
I shall ever love that man, for I heard the Prophet saying, learn the Quran from 4 Abdullah bin Masood Salim. Yeah.
So now should you care for what Muhammad said or not?
I should care.
Okay, so now Ibn Mas'ud says the Quran you have in your hand is shish kebab. So why you lie to me saying the Quran did not change? Apologize.
I apologize.
Okay, so now the Quran turned to be changed. Remember, you said to me, if the Quran
not
did
like
not,
the Bible.
hold on,
It's not like the
let me
Bible.
remind you what you said. You said Allah is God. I said why? Why you are asking me about the Quran? Why you are opening this topic that the Quran did not change? What does that mean to you? You said to me, because of the Quran did not change, that means Allah is true God. And then I said to you, so you are saying if the Quran changed, that means Allah is not true God, and you agreed. So now agree with me that Allah is not true God, because here we go, we prove the Quran to be changed.
Okay, maybe it's changed, but it's not like the Bible that it's.
Doesn't matter. The Bible is the Bible of the, and according to the Quran is the word of Allah anyway. So if the Muslim they want to say the Bible changed, that means Allah cannot be God too, because the Bible is the word of Allah according to Muslims. So you Muslims are shish kebab. You claim that if God could not protect his book, that means he cannot be God. Then your God, he sent 124,000 books, and then he could not keep one copy. As you see, even the Quran does not exist. Apologize and agree with me, Allah is not God. Go ahead.
I apologize.
Do you agree that Allah is not God?
No, I wouldn't say that.
What do you said to me that in the beginning? You said
Okay.
the proof that
Wait,
Allah is God. Listen,
one
be
thing
honest. Be
more.
honest. You know, I'm expecting you to be a man, not a kid. Are you a kid?
I don't know.
Okay. Isn't it you who said to me that if Allah book words did not change, that prove that He is truly God? Yes or no? You said that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And now we prove that the opposite. We prove that Allah words messed up. So now
Yes.
that means Allah cannot be God, correct?
This. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very
Okay.
much.
Wait.
No,
Wait.
no, you said
wait,
yeah. No,
wait.
you said yeah. You said yeah. Everybody heard you.
No.
You said yeah.
Wait,
Everybody heard you. You cannot take it back. I put it in the bank. I put it in the bank. Or anything you say to me, all the point you gave me, I put them in the bank. I put it in the bank. I can't take it, guys. Did this guy say yeah? Did he say yeah? Or I'm making the things up?
No. If you CP, if you can
Doesn't matter
show me
how many
one thing,
no. You said it does
one
not
thing. If you
erase.
can show me this,
Listen, it doesn't matter how many no. You said they will not erase the yeah. This yeah is a big yeah.
show me that the prophets commit to suicide.
Commit what?
Suicide.
What
To
is
kill
that?
himself. To kill himself. Wants to kill himself after the death of Zainab.
What death of Zainab?
The
No,
prophet was
you're a prophet. He did not try to kill himself after the death of Zainab, after the death of Waraq ibn Nawfal.
Can you show me that?
But do you agree with me now that Allah is not God? You said yeah already.
If you can show me this, then I would say that. I will
What?
say that.
If I say that only?
Yes.
Do you promise me you will not play like a kid?
No. I have to go, so...
All right, okay. I know that you have to go. You're a busy man, you know?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. This is your prophet. And this is his story. So what do you think? Your prophet tried to commit suicide. This is an authentic.
Is it Sahih?
Yes, this is Al-Bukhari. This is Al-Bukhari. And this is the hadith number 6982.
This is too much, man.
What too much? No, that's not too much. I did not show you anything, you know? Yeah, I did not show you anything yet. I can show you more. I can drive you crazy. So read with me carefully. Here it says,
Okay.
the prophet becomes so sad. So as we have heard that he intended several times to throw himself from the top of the high mountains. And every time he went to the top of that mountain, in order to throw himself, Jibreel would appear before him and say, Muhammad, you are indeed Allah messenger. Okay, now you say to me, if I show you this, you will leave Islam. Keep your promise.
No.
You said that, everybody. I ask you, are you a man or a kid? You said you are a man.
One thing what I want to say.
You said you are a man, you will keep your words. Are you a man who keep his word or you are not?
But let me read.
What do you mean let me read? Don't you see it on the screen?
I see it.
Okay, that is say
I'm
that the prophet
reading.
becomes so sad and he tried to several times to kill himself.
But if it's Sahih.
Al-Bukhari, what's wrong with you? Al-Bukhari is not Sahih now?
It is Sahih.
Okay. Do you know why the real reason Muhammad he tried to commit suicide?
No.
It was my socks. I took off my shoes. He was next to me. He could not take it. He went away. Still the smell is there. He went farther.
You said that Prophet Mohammed has many black slaves, but this is not true.
Don't change topic. Are you going to jump like a monkey? Show me this, I will leave Islam. Show me this, I will leave Islam. And then when I show it to you, you know, I said to you, remember, are you a man or a kid? You said, I'm a man. So now keep your promise. You said, if you show me that Muhammad trying to commit suicide, I will leave Islam. Is that true? You said that to me.
Yes, true.
Okay, so now confess and say, I decide to leave Islam. I'm waiting. Come on. I thought you're a man. What happened? That means you are not a man, you are just a kid. You swallow your tongue, you did not keep your promise, and you are scared. Abdullah? Like, don't tell me what happened to you is the same as this guy Malawani. Ustaz, he insulted Jesus, Jesus killed him. Abdullah, Kukuruku, wake up. Huh? You don't want to talk. What a shame. He's ashamed. He's ashamed of his religion. This poor kid, he grew all his life. Now he became a man. He have a big beard. His beard is like, you know, like almost like 1 to 10 of the size of my beard. His beard is like 1 foot. What 110? 1 to 20. I have a 20-foot beard. What happened, Abdullah?
Okay.
What? Abdullah, are you using the internet of the neighbors as all Muslims do?
But show me that he has black sleeves.
Why I need to show you? You said to me, if I show you this, you will leave Islam.
I will think about it.
No, it's not up to you. You say that means you are not a man. You are not worth to talk to me. I speak only to real men. I don't speak to little girls.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm changing my mind. So
No, that's,
yes.
you are not changing your mind. You cannot change your mind. A man, he keep his word. A true man, he keep his word. You said to me, look how many things you asked me to show you.
Christian,
And then
but you
I
know,
show you. Did I lie to you? Or I showed you everything I said?
you know, Islam is the only one religion that is the true. Because do you know why?
Why?
Because you put so many hours in this. Why?
Here we
Why
go.
so many?
You see, first of all, look, I made you as a Muslim who believe in Allah, say Allah is not God, and you said yeah. You're asking me why? It's wonderful. I have tens of thousands of Muslims live Islam like you. They come here to make fun of me, they ain't leaving Islam. That's what happened to you.
I have to go. I have to go.
You have to go to the bathroom? To the bathroom, huh? Once a sheikh was debating me, he said I need to go to the bathroom, and that was like 20 years ago, never came back. I checked the fire department, it says I think that the black hole in the bathroom swallow him. Because remember, shaitan, he play with your anus when you go to the bathroom if you don't say certain prayer. Abdullah have to go. He regret coming here. He came here laughing, do you remember? He came here laughing. And he mentioned to me Uthman and Lily Dawah and all those garbage kids. Man, if debating Muslims make me money, I will be a billionaire. I mean, look how many points I made. Every time a Muslim, I make like a 10 billion point. But then in the bank account, there's nothing. The money go to Nancy Balusi. Any Abdul? From the point? Mayday, any Abdul? If you are here first time, don't forget to subscribe. If you are here second time, don't forget to unsubscribe. It's like tradition. When you are up, you know, like you subscribe and subscribe. It's like Elon Musk. I like you, I don't like you. You are an episteme, you are a pedophile. But Trump is so amazing. He's the most wonderful man in the world. And then, okay, time to drop a bombshell. You know, Muslims are like that. You know, subscribe and subscribe. You know, they are your friend. Tomorrow they will stab you in the back. This is why Muslims don't trust Muslims. Abdullah, he left. I am a Muslim coward. Christian Prince, he wiped the floor with me. Unbelievable. I will tell you a story. About Prophet Muhammad. He was so wise, so perfect. And then Trump, he won the election. He could not take it. He was a Democrat. He decided to commit suicide. Nancy Pelosi said to him, no. Commercial break. If you are Kamala Harris or Prophet Muhammad and you are thinking about committing suicide because Trump, he won the election, I have a good news for you. Trump did not win the election. It is a fake news. So call us and make a donation of $2 billion because I am giving you true news. Climate Change Agency. We will change the climate of your lose. All what we need to do, send us the money and we will change the news. Then you go to sleep and you think Trump is not even there. End of commercial. Prophet Muhammad, he's not weird. He's not mental. He's not psycho. He just wants to commit suicide. To try it. To experience it. He's so good. He likes hiking, but not biking. And then he decided to join the Viking. Muslims, Prophet Muhammad tried to commit suicide. Is that because he is mentally ill? Or he was taking some pill? Maybe he's like Elon Musk, he's smoking some kind of hashish. Any Abdul? Any fool? What the heck? Sky Cat, don't laugh. You have a new headset and you are laughing. Shame on you. Guys, have you ever heard of somebody have a new headset and he laugh? I mean, come on, everybody in the internet now knew that you bought a new headset. That means you are rich, and now all the thieves in the world, they will target your house. Good news for you. Are you happy now? Guys, this is the guy who have a new headset. Yeah, look, let me put his name for you on the screen so you can find his address and you go and get the headset. This headset is made by Prophet Muhammad. Oh, look, he have a cat even next to his name. Look, there's a cat. So you can get the headset and this is a cute cat. Just get them. All right? And now I know why he called himself a sky cat. Oh man, this cat is coming from Allah. That is a real target. You can take this cat and put it in the auction in eBay. For sure, after you steal it. First you have to steal it. We Muslims, we steal only from Christians and Jews and Hindus and Buddhists. We don't steal from Muslims unless they are Shia, Ahmadiyya, Duruz. Yeah, we are good Muslims. We steal only halal theft. You know, there's haram theft, halal theft. We are very good thief. Do we have any Abdul from the Lul religion? Any Abdul? Any fool who believe Allah will give him endless penis? I have no problem with it, by the way. I mean, I can spank you. You cannot run after me. How you can run after me? I mean, you can't even go forward. Your penis in the front of you, unless Allah put it as a tail in the back, but that will make it in your anus. That is not a penis no more. That is a pain in the ass. Imagine you have endless penis, Allah put it for you in your anus. So Abdul, like, I spank him in his face. Abdul cannot run after me. He cannot run. He cannot move. His penis in the front of him. Imagine you have something attached to you in the front of you. You can't even carry it. It's so heavy, so long, so endless. Unbelievable. True story, by the way. Allah never lie. Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad is unbelievable. He's so good. Any Abdul? Any fool? Any camel urine drinker addicted to it? Nobody? What's up? What's up? Well, Jesus is up. Muhammad is dead. Don't you know? Any Muhammadan? Okay, look like we are out of customers for today. All right, I think we will finish with you for today. Did we have a good time, guys? Did we have a good time? If you have good time, give me one, please. If you have bad time, give me one, two. Let us make a vote, okay? If you have good time, give me one in the chat. If you have bad time, give me one. Allahu Akbar. Everybody was enjoying his time. Look, everybody gave one. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What's wrong with you? You gave them two options, but both are the same. Yeah, this is Islamic voting. Like, who of you say Prophet Muhammad is bad? Who of you say Muhammad is good? Give me one. Okay, Muhammad, he won. He's good. Okay? This is Arabian way of voting, you know, like everybody vote for votes for Saddam Hussein. Everybody gave him one, everybody. But you said if he's bad, give one too. Yeah, you know, I mean, just let it go, man. Just don't be stupid. You know, like Joe Biden was a president. You are focusing on this now? What's wrong with you? If Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they were controlling the country, what's wrong with you? Has been burdened by what have been? Now you decide to become smart? Has been burdened, you know, by what have been, you know? You know the thing. Who created the thing? You know the thing, you know? The dumb, you know? Unbelievable. All right, guys. I hope you have a good time and you learn something good. We are the Christians. We are the followers of the most loving, powerful, merciful, wise, amazing person ever mankind they saw and they heard. His name is Jesus, the Messiah, the Savior. And those Muslims are following a pedophile, a corrupt man, a rapist, a criminal, and a stupid. And don't say lul, because the Muslims will be offended. Doesn't matter what you say. Even if you say Prophet Muhammad was a great, you should say he is the greatest than Allah. They worship a man, but this man is a pervert. So we as a Christians, we are following the only true Lord, the only true God, the Creator. The Quran could not hide his identity. Muhammad himself, with his foolishness, he got himself busted that Jesus can make the blind see. Jesus can make the dead rise. Jesus can create from the mud living creatures. That is Jesus in the Quran. Where is your God Allah? I do not need to prove to you what Jesus can do, because your Quran already say that. But can you prove to me what your God Allah can do? Allah, to fix Muhammad wisdom, he have to install a dish of wisdom in his chest. And this is Muhammad after the surgery trying to commit suicide. What a stupid idiot. So I say to you Muslims, it doesn't matter how many times you call Christian Prince. It doesn't matter how many times you try. I will fry you without using oil. I will barbecue you and your prophet and your God. I'm trying to help you. Our Lord, he says, you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And that is my Lord. Who is yours, Muslims? The devil. Thank you all for being here. God is good, so is Jesus. And we are the crusade. I hope to see you tomorrow soon. God bless you.